So I gotta be very truthful. If it's actually looking smoother like this, then I should have started at 8,000. Why did I start all the way to 500, bro? I think this is the catch. If I really should have started at 8,000, then it would have been more smooth sailing. But I didn't start at 8,000, I started at 500 or 1,000. That's why it looks clunky on the DVR. Now I know why. Now I know why. Jeez. But let's see if that really is going to be the case. Okay. I am just going to get back into it. So, yeah. Put it at 1,000 for now because I'm still not getting in there yet. Still not there yet. So, at any time, however, it can be already. Yo, Lily Mona, welcome to the show. I just had to restart the stream because I thought that there was something wrong with it. Apparently, my initial bitrate really has to be the highest it could go for it to be smooth on the DVR portion. It should have started at 8,000 from the beginning. But anyway, here we are. Now we can go 8,000 because we're gonna get right into the action. Alright, let's get back into it.
Let's roll.
What are we doing? What are we doing? By the way, I don't care if I get to the top 3 or not. It's just... Oh. Abusive comms, by the way. Abusive comms. By the way, go random weapons this time. You never know. Why did I... So yucky. Sure. Sure, Rattle is going to do that. Yeah, sure. Yo! Yo! Fine. The chicken. I know, it didn't do anything to me, but whatever. Hey, Snake. Whatever. It's on clean player names, by the way. And then mute any other voice chat that has. But basically, yeah. I know, these are bots, for Pete's sake. I don't care much. Is that through the wall? Nah, no, I don't think so. shit, bro. Nothing real. It's okay. We're gonna go for the next map immediately. Alright. Train it. Southeast Asia. What is going on, guys? What is going on? Hello, Flamingo. I'm going to also avoid. Really? These promo bots are everywhere, bro. You know, promo bots I like if they're actually going. Oh man, that was a real one. Dude. Dude. You're not. You're not. Whatever. Dude, what? Yeah. Okay, never mind. Add manatee as well. Okay, then fine. So you're the abusive comms right now. Fine. Okay then. The third-party bots are at least challenging, but the promo bots, they gotta stop it with those. Dude, yeah. Whatever, bro. Oh my god. You're a bot. You too, dude. Never, dude. Bots. I hate it. Whether you are in a competitive matchup or if you're in a warm-up deathmatch. Three kills at least to get the health back up. Whatever. Whatever. Shit. I'm definitely alone. And lamb. Basically, report. Report, report, report. Whatever. Got blown away. Oh! Oh! Okay. Well done. Fucking hell. Rose too. Oh shit. Okay, so Rose is another one. Abusive comms. Promo bots only, but seriously. Damn it. I went with nuke this time. Actually, no. There is something I gotta do first to make sure that things are looking sweet. So, give me a moment. I will try to make sure to... I think I know where my shit is going now. So, hold on. Let me just change up the name. This is my part 2 because I got in it. Stuff. Live stream was done. Okay, hold on. Let me first check. It's actually, so apparently it actually did good. Okay. It did go somewhere. It's no, it is still pixely to a point, but it's no longer that pixely. Thank God. So the initial bit rate that I started with should be the bit rate that I should max out on, and I can adjust it after I start the stream. So that means my YouTube will definitely like, yeah, that'll be something. That will be something. Well, at the moment, that actually looks good to me, but let me check if there's any other things that my folks need. So, give me a moment. I shall return. So, yeah.
Wave Beats Music.
Isabella, fuck with her and you'll get salmonella. She gon' play with all your feelings till you felt her. You'll never be sober once you left her. She gon' keep you on that gas, fuck a Tesla. It's not gon' be easy, she a tester. You better give it that attention, she a queen, you gon' tell her. Feel like Cinderella, she gon' make you feel like you're on top when she finesse. Take a puff, you a duff, now I'm flexed up. Moving all this money, I ain't trapping, I'm just next up. All these other girls, I can tell you how they messed up, but none of them were like Isabella. The only girl who told me her name, yeah, she didn't even care about the money or the fame. That's her life, she's a wife, she devoted to the game. Yeah, she love the way it makes you feel, she is insane. She insane, she gon' come and go, leave you on the floor. You be done, go and try and go, but there ain't no door. That's your life, your new life, even though it's not your type. On the bright side, at least you get to pipe, yeah. She gon' never let you go. You will never let go. And you'll always want more, but you're never gonna get it, so you'll always want more. Isabella, fuck with her and you'll get salmonella. She gon' play with all your feelings till you felt her. You'll never be sober once you left her. She gon' keep you on that gas, fuck a Tesla. It's not gon' be easy, she a tester. You better give it that attention, she a queen, you gon' tell her. Feel like Cinderella, she gon' make you feel like you're on top when she finesse ya. Isabella, fuck with her and you'll get salmonella. She gon' play with all your feelings till you felt her. You'll never be sober once you left her. She gon' keep you on that gas, fuck a Tesla. It's not gon' be easy, she a tester. You better give it that attention, she a queen, you gon' tell her. Feel like Cinderella, she gon' make you feel like you're on top when she finesse ya. Fuck with her and you'll get salmonella.
Beats music. Wave Beats music.
can hear each sound calling my name, and I feel angels around when I start to sing, and suddenly it feels like heaven is a song for Tell me, can you hear the same?
Well, we're in it now, guys. I'm just gonna make sure that we are all good. Yo. Yo, 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 yo. Okay, so how exactly am I gonna deal with this? Basically, give me a moment. So apparently, okay, let me just get something to... I'm gonna be reacting to this, so it's very, very important that I'm able to get this. Hold on, before I do that, hold on, not studio, right? Not studio, and Invisiwind, Hide Explorer, EXE. Okay, got it. Now that that's done, let me just do that. then hide Melt Studio. Alright, very good. Very good. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Yes. We're actually gonna do it, guys. But give me a moment here. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Give me a moment. Number 5. Go for number 5. Give me a moment here. Here we go. In case that you guys are going to be looking for it, you may as well at least understand that here we go. Well, as for everyone on Kick and on YouTube, if you are actually around, may as well just make sure to actually check out my Facebook if you guys got the time. I post updates and shit, but yeah. Anyway, all of them is on my card, on my actual card. So yes. I'm not exactly gonna be going live on my Melt Studio, so yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing we all gotta understand about that shit. Thank God. So we got ourselves another video to watch, and this is actually coming from Atozy, called IRL Streamer Faced Life in Prison for This. I think this is the guy from the UK. I'm not sure. Or someone else. Oh no, this is different. Lil Gara almost got a permanent vacation to prison after allegedly kidnapping his ex-girlfriend at gunpoint, but now, in a strange turn of events, is back to live streaming again. What happened? What happened to this guy? What happened to this guy? Well, we gotta find out for ourselves, right?
This live streamer was potentially facing life in prison after allegedly kidnapping his ex-girlfriend at gunpoint, but now, in a strange turn of events, is back to live streaming again. And all of this happened a year after he reportedly caught her cheating on him while they were both live streaming together. So what's absolutely crazy about this story is most of it happened while they were live. And all of this was following about 2 years of an extremely toxic and turbulent relationship. Yeah, it's safe to say that things escalated a little bit more than expected here. So meet Timothy Brooks, better known as Lil Gara, a 20-year-old Twitch streamer who's essentially been building up a decent Twitch following on the Grand Theft Auto role-playing community, which, if you're not familiar with, it's essentially where streamers role-play with other players as different characters in a modded version of Grand Theft Auto 5.
I got one guy in the shower with a microwave.
Within these servers, they can have jobs, form friendships, create their own story, almost like a simulated version of real life. This guy was a typical young streamer, trying to make it big, doing IRL content mixed with gaming.
Man, it's your boy Gar Don Dada.
with his primary focus always being on his GTA 5 role-playing content, until he became infamous for all the wrong reasons. And I mean, this whole situation is just a perfect example of how toxic relationships can spiral completely out of control when you add the social media factor into the mix. Now, to fully understand the story, we need to go back in time to April 2024, when Gara and his girlfriend decided to stream an IRL date at a local restaurant. It was just a normal couple's night out, other than the fact that they were broadcasting it live to their Twitch viewers. They started by ordering drinks and then browsing the menu. You know, typical things you would do at a restaurant. This is where things went completely off the rails, because as soon as you got a hold of her phone, he started scrolling through it, and you can watch his face visibly change in real time as he discovers something.
Oh, I saw this clip.
The girlfriend quickly realizes what was happening and begins to act extremely defensive. All while, I guess, the streamer just sits there, mouth wide open, completely speechless.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Bro, what is your problem? What is your problem? What is your problem, bro? Bro, what is your problem?
And then the stream just abruptly ends. So obviously, most people could guess what just happened. He caught his girlfriend cheating while on a date with hundreds of people watching. And the clip went viral back then, even drawing the attention of bigger streamers like FaZe Silky, who has also collaborated with Gara previously. And later that day, Gara called up Silky during his stream to explain exactly what he discovered on his girlfriend's phone. According to him, she'd been getting clever about how she was hiding her supposed cheating.
Silky, these are getting clever, gang. You know what they're doing?
What?
And I noticed this in 1 second. Bro, when they leave you, they're unsaving their numbers, so when they call them, it's random numbers, bro. Yo.
Oh my god.
And I'm looking
That's how you know that
I'm
they're
looking at
cheating.
And I'm looking at, I clicked the message, she said, I miss you so bad, This, yo, a real conversation, gang, and it's all, like, 2 hours ago, bro. You yell it. 2 hours, like, you feel me? And I'm realizing this all in 1 second. I'm like, I swipe down to the notifications. I see the same number. Texted her. Unsaved number. Straight messages through that, man.
So you started scrolling up mad fast. I see you scrolling mad fast.
Yo, I started scrolling mad fast, gang.
Nah, look at this nigga eyes. Yo, I'm looking at the clip, yo, bro.
Gara also posted about this incident on Twitter saying, "Disappointed. My fault. I didn't mean for it to go like that. Did only a 10-minute stream. Screw these girls. We on that grind. I'm way too genuine." Meanwhile, she called 12. So the girlfriend in question here is India, who goes by India Baby on social media. Similar to her ex-boyfriend, she's also what you would call a niche personality, but still pretty popular within her target audience.
Okay.
She has been within the streaming scene for a while now, dating back as far as 2020 when she used to play NBA 2K and GTA RP. As a result, she became popular in both these communities, and in the past, was also featured on one of Kai Cenat's E-Date streams.
Do you have any tattoos?
Do I have any tattoos? No, I love your tattoos.
Thank you.
I mean, it is safe to say this whole cheating story from 2024 gains an entirely different perspective when told from her point of view. Because when this clip was posted on Twitter claiming that she was Gara's wife at the time of the live stream, her followers were actually quick to correct that statement, saying that they weren't married or even together, but rather each other's exes at the time of that incident. So India not only confirmed this last statement, but also claimed that it was Gara who cheated on her first back in 2023. Since then, they haven't been back together, and this date he streamed where he caught her cheating was supposedly a second chance she gave him to fix things up, which to me sounds even crazier because why would they want to live stream that? I mean, it really just goes to show you that the internet has really messed up what people's perspective of a healthy relationship is. But I mean, hey, I guess if it goes really wrong or really right, that's content, because that's like the only upside I can see.
Oh my god.
Live streaming your entire life like this. And just like that, the stream ended. According to her Instagram stories, Gara had stolen her bag and then thrown it into a lake. He also apparently stole $3,000 from her, which is, that's a lot of money. And honestly,
oh my god,
that was a massive red flag for what was going to come. And also,
how? Oh my god. If you gotta mix your real life shit together with content creation, you don't mix both if it's going to only land you views and it's only going to get you somewhere, I understand you like to go content or that over everything, but seriously, even if this is not nuisance streaming in particular, it feels wrong to me, bro. This is a date, a second chance to actually hook up, and then this thing. Of course he would scroll. Of course he would scroll through her messages. Okay. There are some right things and there are some wrong things within this picture. They're only dating in the hopes that they would actually get back together. And then he streams it. You know, the only thing that people are just going to look for is the realness. He doesn't need to expose it on a broadcast. Perhaps he likes to record it. That's actually okay. That's fine. But the thing is, actually broadcasting it right as the moment passes, that's one thing. And then unintentionally making a moment viral just because people are looking for it. Does anybody record on their phone anymore? Does anybody? I mean, seriously, I know you got hobbies, but invest in more space and record, for fuck's sake. Really? Oh my god.
So a good reason for why she would want to call the cops on the guy after the date was over. Apparently Gaara and India's relationships have always been this like toxic pattern of breakup, makeup, and repeat. So we've already had confirmation that they were together in 2023 because that was when Gaara allegedly first cheated on her. And it was also likely before June of that year because in June of 2023, India was spotted at a hotel with an upcoming Chicago artist by the name of Lil Jeremy hugging him. So I'm assuming they've already broken up at that point, but who knows? And it's
the two of them don't even deserve to be in a relationship if their own relationship is so toxic to the point that they could cheat, that they could cheat on each other behind their own backs, for fuck's sake. I mean, what?
It seems like they may have even been dating in 2022. Funnily enough, in October 2024, 6 months after the whole restaurant incident, India reposted a TikTok video, I guess maybe a joke, about cheating being her favorite hobby. So, I mean, yeah, things get a little bit more complicated.
Oh my god.
When the story goes to that gray area where it's hard to determine who's really at fault within the relationship and for why it didn't work out. But, you know, in most relationships, it's a two-way street. But either way, it definitely looks like we got two people bringing out the absolute worst in each other. And this was all in the midst of an extremely toxic 2-year relationship. But I guess little did anyone know that this would eventually escalate to something way more dangerous. Because fast forward to May 27th of this year, police reports of Gaara's arrest started going viral after Twitter user NetClips posted Gaara's mugshot on his page. And this was taken from the Miami-Dade County's mugshot Facebook page. And it's safe to say the charges were insane. You would think they were given to him in the Grand Theft Auto role-playing server. Kidnapping with a weapon, firearm, or aggravated battery. Burglary with assault or battery. Punishable
Yo, this is real?
by life. Then finally, to top everything off, carrying a concealed weapon. According to official police statements, the cops responded to reports of a kidnapping at 538 Northeast 61st Street in Miami, Florida, following a 911 call from a female stating someone had a firearm to her head. And the incident had at least 4 witnesses, and even though India herself refused to give a statement and press charges against her streamer situationship, the witnesses didn't follow her lead and decided to cooperate with authorities independently. Allegedly, one of the witnesses was India's friend, who had recently arrived in town with the victim at the time of the incident, who reported that they were both staying at an Airbnb located at that address where the incident took place. And I'll be referring to them as Witness 1 as stated in the official document. And they were the only ones inside the apartment when Witness 1 heard a loud banging at the front door, and upon looking through the window, saw Gaara trying to break in. Witness 1 then alerted India, and both tried to prevent Gaara from entering by physically holding the door shut. Gaara then climbed climbed up to the balcony and entered the apartment through a sliding door. Meanwhile, both India and the witness one ran to a bedroom, attempting to lock themselves in. Gara then forced the door open, preventing it from closing, and then entered the room where he grabbed India and allegedly slammed her against the wall. He then took 2 cell phones from the bedroom nightstand and proceeded to throw them off of the balcony.
Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know how toxic relationships work, but seriously. Both just need to get their mental facilities straight. Both just need to get their mental state straight. Because at this point, it's just not good. They're just never looking good.
All while India went downstairs to retrieve her phone. Witness 1 tried to follow her, but Gara grabbed them and threw them to the ground. Gara then left the apartment and dragged India by her hair into a gray Mercedes-Benz parked outside. He then drove away from the scene with a woman inside, and at the traffic signs located at Biscayne Boulevard and Northeast 61st Street, India managed to jump out of the car for a moment before Gara pulled her back into the car and fled southbound on Biscayne Boulevard on Northeast 61st Street. Approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes after the incident, a 911 call was received regarding a suspicious vehicle located in an alleyway on Northeast 16th Street. The vehicle description matched Gara's Mercedes, and that was how the police located the streamer. So after the news of Gara's arrest broke, India posted on her Instagram story addressing what had happened. She said, "I'm back. Thank you everyone who checked up on me while I went through something very traumatic, which almost caused me to lose my life. Story time tomorrow on stream. I love y'all." However, at the time of the video, she has not shared her whole side of the story publicly yet. So now, a lot has happened since I recorded the first part of this video, and honestly, this entire story has just taken some pretty wild turns that I honestly did not even expect. So first off, India finally came back to streaming after being away for nearly 2 months. I was curious to see if she would finally give us her full side of the story, especially after everything went down. But in her comeback stream, she didn't even really deep dive into what happened at all. She almost brings up the topic, you can tell she's thinking about it, but she doesn't elaborate much beyond the surface level. All she talks about is this hiatus of hers that lasted about 2 months because of her being depressed, going to therapy, and having nightmares. I wonder why, but who knows, I guess. She says she's now feeling better.
It was fake. No, I just went through some stuff, and basically I started like therapy, and so I've been in therapy. I've been trying to get myself together. I've been trying to get my head together. I've been trying to I've just been depressed. So yeah, I literally just cut it. My hair grew a lot for the past 2 months. But yeah, it was just a lot. I was just going through depression. I was going through so much stuff. Literally every day I would go to sleep and I would wake up to a nightmare. All of my nightmares have been
all her little bad behaviors that caused her to be the victim of an armed kidnapping. This is basically going to traumatize her, and even if she has it in her mind to remember these events that actually happened to her, especially that now she's the victim, she's still on the fence when it comes to talking about the actual incident. It's understandable. Okay. It's understandable. At least there is something about this. That, okay, fine. I understand where you're coming from. But you should at least address it a bit. At least for a bit here.
I just been having nightmares every day, and my nightmares are always I'm gonna get shot. I don't know if y'all know, but I almost lost my life. I don't really want to talk about it, but I just been having a lot of nightmares, and so I started therapy. My mom put me to therapy, and I just needed some time to myself.
And after that, the stream just proceeded into her usual Grand Theft Auto content. The fact that their relationship was this weird cycle of breaking up and getting back together, and then it suddenly escalated to this, is pretty insane. It's not something you hear every day, to put it lightly. And what makes this all so much dumber is the fact that so much of this was live streamed for the entire internet to see, and still it escalated to this. Now for Gara, he was released and he made his first public Twitter statement about the situation on Twitter on June 12th, 2025. In it, he mentions that he was charged with very serious offenses and having to sit in jail for weeks. But after numerous conversations between him and his lawyer, it was decided that there was no reasonable likelihood of conviction, and therefore the state made a decision to not file criminal charges. He claims all the charges were dropped, and all the claims and statements made to the public by other parties were 100% false as an attempt to ruin his public image and life. Then on top of that, he's also apparently suing Miami police, especially for forcing max charges when told not to do so by the detectives themselves. In a statement, he says that it was a life-changing experience, not knowing whether he would come home to see his family.
Honestly, do you know? Okay. I need to be real about this because I don't know what kind of character he is, but based on this video alone, I don't think he has a character that puts him into a situation of likely using a firearm to threaten and kidnap. I don't think he has that personality. So something fishy, I think, is going on here, and I don't like it. And all the sus things that are actually happening, I am thinking that the girl has. I think there's a bit of a bad faith thing that's going on from the girl. I think something bad is being cooked up by the girl. All right, India. I think India's scheming. That's what I think. All right. Don't take it as fact. It's still alleged. Everything that is actually happening here is still alleged. But considering that he was arrested, and then everything is speculation because she still isn't sharing, right? The opinion that I have right now, what's in my mind right now, she's scheming. If this guy really didn't do anything, and if it's really just not in his character, if his character speaks against using firearms to threaten and kidnap, and my god, that's already telling. Something's going on with the girl, she's scheming. That's what I think. Alright? I'm not a journalist. This just comes from a guy who just is looking things in the surface. Okay? So far, there's nothing shown beneath the surface as of this time on this, the way Atozi is actually saying it, okay? Just letting you guys know that's what I think. That's just letting you guys know that's what I think of this.
Damaging thoughts of his career being over, and then, you know, a lot of other hardships during this time. He was also looking forward to getting back to work and streaming, providing great content to his followers, putting an end to all the lies and rumors being spread about his name. And that's what he did, because on his comeback stream on June 24th, 2025, when someone in his chat asked about when Gara thought he would be able to tell what happened, he gave us more details about his POV after the incident.
Damn, it's just...
What? He did share!
So much playing in my mind right now. Yo, it's so much I want to say, and it's just coming out at one time. When do you think you will be able to tell what happened? I ain't gonna lie, chat. So look, right now, as of June 24th, all of my charges are dropped. But I'm getting threatened, chat. If I get locked up, and they try to stick, you feel me? They try to, you know what I'm saying?
Here we go. She's fucking scheming! She is scheming! She is scheming! Here it is! Here it is! This is why she isn't talking about it, and this is why he is. Wow. Now we know, guys. She made him look bad just because he exposed her from that restaurant. She's scheming.
Gang, this is what I'm dealing with. If I get locked up, we ride. You understand? We fight, yo. We cannot let these demons, you know what I'm saying, do this to us, bro. Y'all see what I was dealing with? You understand? I'm just in a bad situation, bro. Like I can't do nothing. And I learned my lesson, bro. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I learned my lesson. but I also refuse to be silenced. But I will also not say anything to my case. You understand that? Like, what I'm showing y'all isn't my case. This is just the type of person, this, that, and the third, like this crazy person. You know what I'm saying? How you got a case if the charges drop? Because you can still reopen, she can still reopen the case, bro. She been threatening me. No, I already talked to my lawyer, bro. Like, regardless, if something does happen, this, that, and the third, I have all the proof. I have everything. Like, I have videos of her trying to, you feel what I'm saying? Pop me. Like, she was trying to turn me into bro from New York, gang. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, yo.
That's why she's not open about it, and he is. Yeah. Yeah. She better not try anything, because if she does, she'll be the one who's miscalculated, and it'll actually land on her. This charges will be landing on her if there is going to be an incident like this.
Like, look, I have the video of that, bro. Every time something happened, I have a video, gang. Like, I have a video of everything, bro, so.
Okay, so that's pretty different. Gara, I guess now, is claiming that he was being threatened and showed a screenshot on the screen. The name of the person wasn't showing, so I would rather not jump into any conclusion yet. This whole situation is now turning into a he said, she said situation, so hard to weigh in here. And he claims to have proof of everything that he said on stream. So this now is starting to seem like it's just the beginning of a much longer story that might still be unfolding in the following days.
Oh my god, I hate he said, she said, bro. But I'm beginning to think that if he's being more open to this, considering that something traumatic had happened, and then she's not speaking because she's a victim and she owes her fans an explanation, that makes her the suspicious one. And that makes him more of the wrong one, or the framed one. That at least makes sense. To me, that at least makes sense. Thank God. Oh my goodness. This is not looking good. This is not looking good for her. This is how it is. It's not looking good for her. Oh my goodness, how are we getting to this point, bruh? How are we getting to this point? Ay, ay, ay. I'm just gonna watch some stuff, okay? Don't mind me, but yeah.
Nikita Mazepin, Yuji Ide, and even the one and only Lord Mahavir. They're some of the worst drivers of all time, and you probably know them because of these.
Thank you. Indian driver will be thinking about trying to get out of turn number 2.
Or because you've been subscribed to me for a while. But what if I told you there's a driver you've never heard of who's as horrific as them? Maybe even worse than all three combined, with an even crazier story. It's a story of secret training sessions, getting kidnapped, having some big shot contracts, burning through loads of cash, and crashing all over the place. This is the story of the worst driver you've never heard of. In a world run by men, only a few women manage to shine in racing, and just a handful have ever reached Formula One. Those who try need impeccable skills and have to fight all odds to make their mark. In fact, we have to go all the way back to 1992 to find the last woman who technically raced in Formula One. And surprise, surprise, she's the star of this video, Giovanna Amati. But hold on, if you're looking for an inspirational story, this isn't it. Amati skipped the talent part, and with a game plan that even Stroll himself would envy, made it to the top.
Right.
Her story is as wild as it gets. Stick with me. Born in Rome in 1959, Amati had a pretty amazing childhood. Her mum, Anna Maria Pancani, was a famous actress, and her dad, Giovanni, owned quite a few theaters across the city. As spoiled as she could get, little Giovanna was not your average girl. While others were playing with dolls, she was playing around with Hot Wheels, or whatever they were called at that time, dreaming of going on to Motorsport Academy. Her love for racing just kept on growing, and when she was 15, she told her family she wanted piano lessons. Classic misdirection. While she secretly bought a Honda 500cc motorcycle. For 2 years, she'd speed off to the Vallelunga track near Rome to practice, all while her family had no clue. Her family started to get a little suspicious when, for the 4th time, she was terribly ill minutes before her supposed performance on the piano. But her life was awesome, like she was in heaven, and no one could bring her down from there. On February 12th, 1978, when Giovanna was just 19, and before her career had even started, she suddenly got attention from the entire country. 3 masked men violently grabbed her and dragged her into a van. Giovanna couldn't do anything, and she screamed for help and tried desperately to escape. Where was Giovanna? What had just happened? The kidnappers took Giovanna to a house nearby, but the police immediately began searching and getting very close, so they decided to move to a more remote location. The group was led by a Marseille gangster named Jean-Daniel Nieto, who knew all about the Amati family's money and asked for a huge ransom. Meanwhile, Giovanni Amati, whose family's assets had been frozen by the courts to fight organized crime by blocking ransom payments, was doing everything he could to get her back. Giovanna, completely terrified and helpless against these men, was locked in a wooden cage and abused physically and mentally day after day. While the police and courts worked to handle the case and save Giovanna, her father, whose accounts were still frozen, didn't care about the authorities' opinion and just wanted to save his daughter. He tried to raise money by using box office receipts from Star Wars, selling jewelry and borrowing from the life savings of their servants. It was a life or death situation.
Yeah. If that's real, damn. Hold on. I'll be back. Oh, hi, alien. Hi. Sorry. Okay. Give me a moment here. Yo, yo, yo. At least I'm doing whatever. Oh, hold on. I shall try to do another spin. Actually, wait. Okay, then. Let me just get that shit together, okay? Well, okay, that's cool. Anyway, let's get back to it.
He was willing to try anything, with Giovanna going through inhuman torture, until finally her father paid 800 million lira, $933,000 at the time, ransom on the 27th of April 1978. After going through this nightmare for 75 long days, Giovanna was finally back home with her parents, where she could start to recover. Shortly after, Nieto started sending Giovanna flowers and love letters, and even calling her to say he missed her. The guy was basically trying to trick young and innocent Giovanna into acting like they were lovers, but Giovanna told the police, and they helped her set up a meeting with him on Via Veneto in Rome to catch him. Nieto thought his plan had worked and showed up, but when Giovanna arrived, the police were waiting. Realizing it was a trap, Nieto pulled out a gun, but the cops shot at his feet until they finally arrested him. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison, escaped in 1989, and was caught again in 2010 after being on the run for 20 21 years. It doesn't stop there. Because Giovanna's family was rich, powerful, and now famous, tons of stories came out. The media went wild, even spinning a tale about a possible romance between Giovanna and Nieto, and especially after he reached out to her once the kidnapping was over. But of course, Giovanna always denied these allegations. She took a long time to get over it, and says the experience actually helped her chase her dream of becoming a professional racer. After this nightmare, Giovanna somehow got back to her normal life, and now more than ever, she used her dad's money and connections to set an example for future stars like Mazepin, Maheve, and Lance.
Oh boy.
How far would Amati go after everything that happened? Had her struggle made her stronger, forging her mindset and turning her into the ultimate driver? Would she be the first woman to race in Formula 1 and win multiple world championships? Well, using her privileged connections, she was convinced by her friend Elio De Angelis to switch from motorbikes to cars. And I say privileged because De Angelis wasn't just anyone. He was a Formula 1 driver himself. He achieved several wins and podiums with Lotus, so she made the switch and joined a motor racing school to learn how to crush her rivals and become the best driver in the world. After learning how to drive a race car, Giovanna started racing in the Formula Abarth series in 1981. She jumped straight in without doing any karting first. Formula Abarth was like the entry-level series, similar to today's Formula 4.
You should have done the karting first.
Usually, if a young driver is reaching the top, they'd stick around for only a season or two at most. Giovanna, aiming to be the best, would spend a brief stint of 4 seasons
Are you
before moving up the racing ladder. And yes, she got a couple of wins during those 4 seasons, but it was pretty clear from then on she wasn't going to be the next Senna.
How of an idiot?
She finally
How much of an idiot do you? Oh my god.
In 1985, she finally moved up to Italian Formula 3, a good category for building your resume, but Giovanna didn't exactly shine. Just check out how she finished in the standings both years. Despite these results, and honestly, I don't even know how, in 1987 she moved up to the International Formula 3000, a more serious category for training future F1 drivers. It was here that Amati had the moment that put her on the map, a couple of years after her debut. But I'll get back to that in a little bit, because even though she was climbing the racing ladder as fast as a snail, that's for sure, her results were actually going downhill. True to her style, Amati stuck with her classic move, staying in the same category for 4 years with barely any progress. In fact, there was no improvement in her results.
She has to improve if she wants to move up. If not improve, then practice first and then go through the serious competition. Seriously, this is not good.
As you can see, Amati found that
she never found time for herself to practice and hone her art. That, or she's scheming on something. I'm not sure.
secret ingredients for the perfect recipe were a no classification, a too slow to score points, and a few retirements here and there for good measure. She followed this recipe to a T.
This is just bad. How stupid can she get? Of course she can't get to her maximum potential by doing this. Following a playbook that if it actually gets too difficult for her, retire. This is because she hasn't had any serious practice. She hasn't had any serious schooling. She just wants to go do shortcuts, for fuck's sake. Oh my god. Disgraceful. This is disgraceful! Motorsport in itself is an art by itself, depending on the type of motorsport. It's like Counter-Strike. You don't become a competitor by actually going through shortcuts every time to get to the top. Of course she's gonna get called out many times and then she's going to be the disgraced one.
During her 4 long years in International Formula 3000, ending up with a grand total of 0 points. They say her 0 points in 31 races inspired Lord Maheve to set the record. But unfortunately for Amati, even the Indian Lord, with some skill and a bit of magic, beat her by 2 races. And now it's time for her big moment. And once again, not for the right reasons. It's the 7th round of the 1990 season at Hockenheim. As usual, Giovanna's having a tough time with her car and is way behind the points. Suddenly, another driver, Phil Andrews, catches up and gets ready to pass her. Andrews moves to the right, lining up next to Giovanna and slowly closing the gap. Then he slowly edges to the right, giving Giovanna less and less room. The Italian driver, stuck between him and the grass, has to ease off a bit to avoid going off the track while Andrews finishes his move. It's, at most, just a racing incident, right?
What's happened with Max?
Nothing, just an incident on the race.
Well, not for Amati. A couple of weeks later is one of those things that puts Amati right up there with Maldonado.
Oh boy.
Or Mazepin.
What the f was that? Honestly, seriously. Wow.
A couple of weeks later, during tests at Oulton Park, they meet again on track. Giovanna is probably on an in-lap, just coming out of Knickerbrook. A fast right-hand turn where you barely need to slow down. Andrews, going faster than her, again, passes her on the right, not knowing what's about to happen. Amati, for no apparent reason, suddenly turns her car to the right where Andrews is passing. With no time to react, Andrews' front wheel hits Amati's left rear wheel. At around 160 miles per hour, Andrews' car goes flying into the air and speeds towards the tyre barriers. Andrews has slammed into the barriers at over 100 miles per hour. His car is totally wrecked.
That is bad.
Where is he? Well, miraculously, he was taken to the medical center, and after several checkups, it was confirmed that he was okay.
I just crested the rise and she jigged to the right sharply. I honestly couldn't say whether or not she did it on purpose.
This is what happens when you don't get enough training, for fuck's sake. I hate this so much, bro. I hate this so much! This is what happens when you don't get enough training, for fuck's sake!
But it was very odd. It didn't really matter at that stage because I was about to have the most terrifying accident of my life. I can't remember when the anger took over, but after I got checked out at the medical center, I saw that Amati was waiting at the end of the pit lane for the session to restart again. I went up to the car and told her to get out. She wouldn't.
It was like Amati suddenly forgot how to speak English. She didn't explain anything and just kept on going like nothing happened. Even that murder attempt didn't end her career, but it was definitely the start of her downfall. However, her dumbest moments were still to come. After over 8 seasons stuck in Formula 3000 and lower categories with no improvement and wild performances like the one we just saw, it seems no one realized just how bad Amati was. At the end of 1991, somehow, Giovanna Amati, the driver who had managed a grand total of 0 points in 31 races and almost killed another fellow driver, got to test drive a Benetton Formula 1 car, completing just over 30 laps. But that's not all. A few months later, the Brabham F1 team, after years of uncompetitive cars and financial troubles, heading into what would be their final season, was looking for someone to join Eric van der Poel. The first choice was Japanese F3000 driver Akihiko Nakaya, but the FIA didn't give him his super license as they didn't recognize the Japanese F3000 series as a proper stepping stone into motor racing. But you know what did count for the super license? Yep, International Formula 3000. And you know which driver had definitely raced in Formula 3000 more times than almost anyone else ever? Of course, Giovanna.
Oh my god, they're gonna look for the more hours of experience rather than the... Oh my god. You are a failing team and you choose the one who doesn't have enough merits. Rather, you choose the one who has more hours, and your team, your manufacturing team is failing. How? What kind of decisions have these failing manufacturing teams been making for them to actually think that more hours actually matter more than the legitimate hard-earned merits? She didn't earn a single merit. She didn't earn even a point. What the fuck?
Amati.
Brabham introduced the first lady driver in Formula 1 in 15 years.
How on earth did that happen? Brabham barely had enough money to get to the races, and when other teams could do all the testing they wanted, they couldn't afford any of it. So what did Amati have? Not talent, that's for sure, but many connections and a lot of money. Her dad was a friend of Giulio Andretti.
I hate this so much. She's just flexing her money to just do whatever race she wants,
and
for
that's how
fuck's sake.
Giovanna Amati got into Formula 1, after Maria Teresa de Filippis, Lala Lombardi, Davina Galizia, and Desire Wilson. Amati was set to be the 5th woman to ever race in a Formula 1 GP. This grabbed a
You've got to be a hard-earned competitor for you to be appreciated. But for fuck's sake, always using money just because you can, and just because you got the connections to. Disgraceful!
ton of attention, which was exactly what Brabham needed to pull in some more sponsors. And when asked if she faced sexism when she became an F1 driver, Amati years later said,
Ti accettano quando stai molto indietro rispetto a loro, quando cominci ad arrivargli sotto, a partire a avere delle pole position o partire in prima, in seconda fila, non ti parlano neanche più nei box. Nella pit lane i piloti neanche ti rivolgono la parola. Nessuno vorrebbe stare dietro una donna, sinceramente neanche io.
You know, why is it? Why is that? It's simply because they're getting tired of you and they're seeing the stink coming from you. Especially during that incident. Okay? Now, people are starting to see your stink then, okay?
But what did she expect after pretty much buying her way into Formula 1?
Exactly, and using her riches too! Oh my god.
Anyway, Giovanna signed with Brabham just 2 weeks before the season would start in South Africa, so she barely had time to get used to the team or the car.
Well, technically the car is really faster. The gearbox is completely different. The brakes are completely different. The engine, the use of the engine is different. The grip of the...
Everything is coming way too fast for you, darling.
I mean everything.
Way too fast.
It was pretty much a recipe for a major disaster. At Kyalami, Amati finally made her Formula 1 debut. The Italian driver spun out 6 times and was by far the slowest driver. And in qualifying, she gave it everything she had, but ended up in 30th and last place. Almost 9 seconds behind Poleman Nigel Mansell and 3 seconds off the driver just ahead of her. Van der Poel, meanwhile, was 26.
All you had to do was go through training so they can weed out which ones are not worthy to be in there. And they could train you to be prevented from being weeded out like this. But no, did you take the training? No! You used your dad to actually get there. Well, fuck you.
Almost 4 seconds ahead of...
Whether you are a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. You use your own riches to be a competitor? No. Disgusting.
The Belgian was the last to make the cut for the race, as back then only the top 26 were allowed to race. So Amati didn't make it into her first Formula 1 Grand Prix. But hey, it was her first weekend in a tricky car. Things would definitely get better in the future. The second race of the season was at the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in Mexico. And sure enough, the predictions came true. Amati put on another cringe-worthy show, ending up 30th and dead last in qualifying. 8.7 seconds behind pole.
Giovanna Amati,
oh my god.
Seconds this morning, she didn't go out at all. She's one of the 4 people who currently are not qualified for the Grand Prix.
Now, to be fair, her team...
By the way, the video that I'm watching right now is called The Worst F1 Driver You've Never Heard of. This is from Daily Fuel Up. I am going to be subscribing to it, actually for everything. And then I'm going to like this video because it deserves my like. It does. Let me just tell you, disgraceful the way she became a competitor. Oh my god.
There will be...
And her means to an end is to use her connections, her father, for the... She's not a competitor. Who the fuck is she fooling?
Mate was second to last, proving that Brabham was a total wreck, but he still managed to be 3 seconds ahead of her. Just check out how she tackled those corners, pushing the car to its absolute limits. This was the first time ever that neither of the Brabham cars made it into a Grand Prix. It was obvious the car was awful. The team bosses were starting to get seriously fed up with Amati's performances. But hey, give it some more time, right? With more experience and confidence, it was just a matter of time before Amati got—
You should have taken the training. You should have taken the training for you to have your solid footing, but you did not. I'm going to say it again and again and again and again and again. You took shortcut after shortcut, and where did that get you? Fuck you.
Got better, but the pressure just made everything even worse. In the third Grand Prix at Interlagos, Giovanna didn't just fail to improve, she actually became even worse. Guess how many seconds she was off pole? 7, 9, almost 11 freezing seconds behind, finishing last once again. The Italian driver was basically racing in her own league. Amati's driving was simply terrible. Not only could she not keep up with the others, but she wasn't getting any better over time. And the worst part, her financial backers, seeing how badly she was performing, decided to pull the plug on the money. With no results and no cash, Brabham dumped her right away, ending Amati's dreams of racing in Formula 1. She was replaced by Damon Hill, who was, well, a definite improvement.
And I've also done quite a bit of 3000, and I really feel like I'd like to see how I'd fare in Formula 1, actually racing and competing in an F1 car.
And they deserved him. And they deserved him. Because he worked for it. Whether you're a woman or you're a man, I'm going to say it again and again and again and again and again. You don't go through shortcuts if you want to be what you want to be. You keep grinding it out, sure. It's better if you have practice, especially if there is a way to do these things properly. But never flex and use the flex to gain the advantage and hope that it would actually get you somewhere. That's not how competitive sport works, bro. That's not, that's not how competitive sport works.
Just like that, Amati's Formula 1 career was over, much to everyone's relief. But according to her, she wasn't given her fair shot. But what did she expect? Another 4 years to figure it out? I mean, now that I'm saying it out loud, she probably did. Anyways, after her first stint in F1, Amati raced in sports car and prototype series. She didn't do amazingly there either, but it's fair to say she didn't mess up as much as she did in F1, though that's not saying much. In her final year as a driver in 1999, she raced a full season in the Sports Racing World Cup, finishing third in the SR2 class and having the best season of her career before calling it quits on a high note. But honestly, Amati won't be remembered for any of that, especially not for her F1 performances. In fact, if she weren't on all those lists of women who raced in F1, hardly anyone would have to remember her name. And because of performances like Amati's, they introduced the 107% rule in 1996. If you're not familiar with this, it's pretty simple. Basically, a driver has to complete a lap within 107% of the fastest time to qualify for the race. In other words, if the pole time is 100 seconds, everyone has to get their lap done in under 107 seconds to make the cut. In the early 90s, lots of teams like Brabham left F1 because of financial issues, so the number of drivers dropped to 26, the maximum allowed, and anyone could qualify no matter how fast they were. Without this rule, years later, Amati could have actually qualified for the races. And just think of the chaos she would have caused in an F1 race. Amati's racing career can be summed up in a few words. A rich, spoiled kid with a dream who, thanks to her connections and money, managed to achieve it, but thankfully didn't stick around for too long. She didn't make much of an impact in Formula Abarth, Formula 3, or Formula 3000. Even though she stayed in those categories for years, she mostly had bad results and made some wild crashes like the one at Alton Park. Even so, her money and connections got her into Formula 1, where it didn't take long for everyone to—
This is the most disgraceful thing that a so-called competitor can do. I hate it that this was done before, and they think they're so entitled enough that they can actually just prance around like it's nothing. They don't respect the art. She never respected the art of the Formula One.
And to see just how bad she really was. The worst part is, F1 still has, and probably always will have, paid drivers like Amati, who, with their cash, push out more talented drivers who actually deserve a spot. Now, if you watch this one until the end, I'm 100% confident you'll love this video. Probably even more. And as always, thank you for watching.
I am not going to say so much about this after, because this is not exactly a formal reaction. But I will say this: it's very, very. I definitely like it better if she would have at least respected the sport. But did she respect the sport at all? No, she did not. And do I actually want to laugh at her? Do I want to laugh at her to keep making up that fact, to keep making that point? Yes, I will keep laughing at her no matter what, because she doesn't deserve love from an up-and-coming competitor. Okay? She's no competitor. She's a fraud. I am going to keep repeating it. Fraud. Now, I will get back later because I just gotta split it. I do want to try and get the actual reaction, so yeah. I'll see you guys later.